So Kevin Stefanski coached under Mike Zimmer for a while, and Stefanski talked about, Mike Zimmer is Vikings head coach. Kevin Stefanski talked about the influence of the Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer on him.
Just the way he runs his operation is very similar to the way we do things here. Coach Zim is very, very transparent, very blunt with the players. You know with the players and coaches, you know where you stand. He's honest. He's was certainly helpful to me as a young coach. I owe him a great debt of gratitude for how he, number one, retained me on the staff when he came in, and then moved me throughout the offensive staff, made me his coordinator. So he's somebody that was very instrumental in my development.
It's kind of interesting when you look at how Kevin Stefanski has developed. I mean, last year, first year as a head coach, wins Coach of the Year, and really hadn't been calling plays for that long either.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Zimmer gave him the opportunity to call plays at the end of 2018. He called plays for 3 games at the end after John DeFilippo got fired. And that's why when the Browns interviewed him and he became Kevin Stefanski and became a finalist with Freddie Kitchens in 2019, he was such an off-the-radar guy because he'd only called plays for 3 games. He'd only been an interim coordinator for 3 games. He's not he didn't have the type of resume where you say, oh yeah, he's on the short list or the top of the list of hot coordinators. But the Browns saw something in him and kind of were ahead of their time, and then waited a year, obviously, and it still worked out. But yeah, so Mike Zimmer gave him the chance to be an offensive coordinator. He kept him. And I think that's, when you look at Kevin Stefanski kind of big picture, that's one of the things that's so impressive about him. He spent 14 years with the Vikings, but he went from Brad Childress to, I think, Leslie Frazier to Mike Zimmer. There were a bunch of different offensive coordinators that were in charge of him. He coached like every position but the offensive line. So he's a guy that obviously is smart and people recognize that, but they also must be able to trust him because you're a new coach and you interview a guy and you say, okay, he's not going to sabotage me, or he's not stuck in the former regime's kind of ways, set in their ways. And I think that's one of the reasons Kevin Stefanski impresses so many people.
Yeah, and he admitted that was one of the reasons he took a little bit from everybody and had the opportunity to work under so many people. He viewed that definitely as a strength.